Hey, everybody. You are now tuned into the Blackout, shining a light on Black excellence, activism, and culture. Blacked out by the majority on Afro Vibes Radio, the #1 online internet radio station, with your girl, Tequila. Today's special guest is advocate for fibroid awareness, nurse, fitness, and yoga coach, the lovely Miss Phyllis from Pong. How are you doing this afternoon?
Oh my gosh, I'm doing so good, girl. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for showing up today. So before we just hop into everything that you're advocating for, let's start off by you introducing yourself and giving us a little background into Miss Phyllis from Pong.
Oh my God, beautiful introduction, Tequila. But as you said, my name is Phyllis from Hong. I am a fitness and yoga coach. I am from Chicago, Illinois.
Yeah.
And I've been living in Houston for about 5 years. And one of the things that I love to do is research and just relax, take vacations. And one of the things that I became more aware of is just the quality of life. So that's just been my thing, my vibe.
So how important is self-care for you?
Extremely important. I mean, I believe that in order to be your best and to live your best life, you have to take advantage of self-care, mind, body, spirit, all day long.
Absolutely. And so one of the things that that you are is a nurse, of course.
Yes.
And then, as I mentioned, a yoga coach. So tell us how you got into the fitness and the healthy lifestyle.
So I got in, once I got into nursing school years ago, I gained 30 pounds due to the stress of the curriculum and unhealthy eating habits. And I was like, you know what? After being told I had high cholesterol, PCOS, and fibroids. For those that don't know what PCOS is, it's polycystic ovary syndrome, where cysts form on your ovaries or your uterus, and also, if I said high cholesterol. So after being told that, I went to a gym and got a gym membership. I was like, I got to do something about this. So I got a gym membership, and I ran into a bodybuilding coach. And long story short, she was like, you should compete. I'm like looking at her like, look at me. Yeah, right. So I ended up taking her word for it. I got into my first competition. So I became aware of how fitness can be when I transformed my body, losing 30 pounds in 3 months, down to 10 to 12% body fat. I was like, wow, I can really do that. Hard work can really happen. So after that experience, I competed on my first show and got rid of all the fear and anxiety once I stepped on stage. It was like an out-of-body experience. So after that, that kind of inspired me to become a fitness coach, but that is when I fell in love with fitness, when I stepped on the stage.
And so what are some things that you actually help others with when it comes to fitness, or some things that you do yourself, such as techniques?
So the unique things that I do is I incorporate yoga principles in the fitness coaching. I think it's so important as a coach, at least for me, is to coach others from the inside out versus the other way around. That way, you're working on your inner being and you're developing healthy behaviors for long term. So I usually start my sessions out with some sort of meditation or self-awareness, and really emphasize breathing throughout the workout. And then at the end, really ask my clients, their intentions, their purpose of this workout, and remind them of their goals. So those are some of the unique things that I do within the workout. And then outside of that, I am regularly practicing what I preach, starting the day off with a yoga or a meditation, and also working my awareness and self-development. That way I can be better and be the best that I can be as a coach.
Absolutely. And so you're also a nurse. Tell us a little bit about your background in that field.
So, yeah, I'm a nurse. Did what my dad wanted me to do, become a nurse. So, nursing, I've been a nurse for about 10 years, and it's been an enlightening journey, being a nurse, enlightening and rewarding journey. I would say starting out was very stressful, and the demands of nursing, for all the nurses out there, high five to you. It's very stressful. And if you're not aware of how to deal with the stress and let out that built up energy, you can end up compromising yourself. And that's what I did as a nurse. So I started off with working in the hospital, as every nurse usually does, to gain their experience. And I was on a floor where we had a little bit of everything. It was a busy floor. I mean, you barely got time to go to the restroom, have a lunch. So I did that for so long. And I stepped outside of the hospital and went into home health care because I wanted to be able to be one-on-one with patients, have a bigger impact, and not feel so stressed. And, you know, that's also stressful as well. It's not as much as the hospital. So I did that for a while, and that's what I currently do now, every now and then. But I'm at the point where I want to really focus on being in an environment that's going to serve me and my body. Yeah. And I feel that at this point, you know, my business name is Nurse to Fitness, and I'm looking to change it and saying, you know what, Nurse to Wellness. That's where I'm going.
Absolutely. So how do you feel like stress impacts an individual's mind and their body?
Stress is a very toxic thing. And I'm talking about bad stress, where it compromises you from being your best. So in my experience, as far as stress, I did not know how to handle it. Growing up, I felt like I was very sheltered. And then once I got into nursing school, it was like, bam, like all of this, all at once. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to take it in. So my only thing at that time was taking it all in and not letting it out. And I feel that once I graduated and started working out regularly and competing, I had an exit of how to get some of that energy out of my body. But not everyone knows that. And sometimes if you're not aware of it, stress can cause havoc to the body, blood pressure issues, health issues. It can keep you from wanting to do things in life that you want to do. And I'm now at a point, now that I became a yoga coach and regularly practicing yoga, I realize that stress is something that can be managed through different techniques. And that's another thing that I coach to my clients is being able to meditate, breathe, because past the age of 5, we no longer do belly breathing. We're breathing from our chest. And that is not quality breathing. So your body's really suffering, and you can see it with different conditions.
Absolutely. So let's hop into the thing that you came here for, which is really showing awareness for fibroids.
Yes.
And this is a topic that I really don't mind having on my show. I've had it before, but more from a holistic standpoint.
Okay.
So I recently, with my last pregnancy last year, I found out that I have fibroids.
Oh, really?
It's not big, but it shocked me because I had been to the doctor and everything, and they never seen that. But then when I had an ultrasound with my baby, they were like, you have a fibroid on your uterus, but it's only 2 centimeters. It's not that bad. But I'm like, still, I feel like, what am I doing wrong that I would get that, right? And so that's been a challenge for me, and I'm still learning, and that's why I brought up the holistic point of view, because I did have a lady tell me she healed hers by drinking certain things, eating certain foods, really, like you say, changing your lifestyle, her eating lifestyle. And I find that to be a challenge when you're used to eating and doing what you want to do. So that's something I really have to look into. But I'm curious to see what your insight would be as a nurse. So tell us first a little bit about what fibroids are.
So fibroids are non-cancerous tumors that grow in or around the uterus. And for some, they may not cause any signs or symptoms, right? Like for you. Or for some, it may cause heavy bleeding, pelvic pain, anemia, and all that other stuff too as well. And it's non-cancerous, and it's common among women of color. The stats are about 90% in black and brown versus our white counterparts. And for me, having fibroids for the last 10 years, I've been able to manage it with fitness, yoga, and nutrition. And for me, I have 4 fibroids. The largest one is like 9 centimeters. So I suffer, I would say, and not suffer, but my signs and symptoms are fatigue and maybe pelvic pressure. But I came from having heavy bleeding, painful cramps, and a couple other signs and symptoms as well, where now that I've been on my journey with fitness, yoga, and nutrition, they have gotten significantly better as far as my symptoms.
And I'm glad that you mentioned that because, like you said, I really wouldn't have noticed because my period was always heavy. I was always in pain. I thought that was just what it was. And so afterwards, I ended up getting on birth control, and they were like, well, this will help regulate your periods. It'll help take some of that cramping away. And I'm sorry, it actually worked. I bit my tongue. It actually worked, though. And I'm not in as much pain, which is so crazy because I really didn't think nothing of it. And when the doctor said it, she was like, oh, yeah, this is common amongst African-American women, which kind of sucks because it shouldn't be. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But they just kind of waved it off like it's not really a big deal. So I don't know. I guess it depends on how we look at what we're doing as far as eating and, like you said, nutrition and working out and things of that nature.
And you know what, Tequila, that's the perfect example why I'm on my mission now. So I'm on this mission to help women and men, not just women, and girls as well, about empowering and educating about being an advocate for your own health. The example you just said, as women of color, we as girls are brought up to think that heavy periods and painful cramps is just a part of life, and it's not. We should not be bleeding no more than like 3 tablespoons. And it's more of the norm. Also, when it comes to knowing your options, you go to the doctor and they say, oh, it's common among women of color to have that, but why?
Exactly.
And bringing awareness to why does this keep happening and what do we need to do something about it. It just seems like, it's more than just being a genetic thing. It's more of generation and generation repeating the same things. And that is just part of my whole thing, is just why I'm so passionate about this, is that we need to wake up. We need to get empowered, get educated, get proactive, and really be partners with these doctors. They don't own our health. We partner with them, and we both decide on our health.
Absolutely. Well, we do have to go on a quick commercial break, but when we return, I want you to kind of go more into, fibroids, ways that we can heal it, prevent it, all those different measures that we can take. But until then, you guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break. You're still listening to The Blackout, shining a light on Black excellence, activism, and culture on Afro Vibes Radio with your girl, Tequila. Hey everybody, you are now tuned back into The Blackout, shining a light on Black excellence, activism, and culture, blacked out by the majority on Afro Vibes Radio, the #1 online internet radio station with your girl, Tequila. We are still inside of the studio with our guest, Miss Phyllis Rempong, and she's giving us some advocacy on fibroid awareness, as well as educating on being a nurse, fitness instructor, and a yoga coach. And so before we left off from the show, you were kind of just giving us the definition of what fibroids are and some of the side effects that come with it. So with you having a background in fitness and wellness, what are some ways that we can actually prevent from getting fibroids?
Good question. So prevention, #1, exercise and nutrition. Especially with our younger generation, it seems like, in schools, in the vending machines, all you see is chips, sweets, and different things. And it seems like it just is huge when it comes to being proactive, is starting out with getting excess weight and having balanced meals. In regards to fibroids, there is a female hormone that's called estrogen. Estrogen is what we need to maintain our woman parts and our hormones. But with excess weight, there's more estrogen. More estrogen, more likely to feed the fibroids. So exercise and nutrition first and foremost. Second thing I would kind of venture into is awareness. being aware that this is an issue, being aware of your own health and your environment. There's a global mission to save lives in regards to the Now We Know campaign. And that is a way to inform men and women about the harmful effects of toxins in our environment, especially when it comes to sanitary napkins and tampons. Knowing that we, as women, there's a easy access to our bloodstream where these chemicals can go in and circulate in our bodies. You think about how many times we wear a pad, how many times we insert a tampon throughout our lives, and repeated exposure of these toxins. So in regards to environment, microwave, using plastic, keeping your water bottle in your car, and then even stuff that you apply on your body, like deodorant. I stopped using the regular commercial brand of deodorant and use a special brand where I order it off online. I forgot the name of it, but just knowing that your body is permeable. Whatever you put on it, it goes inside your bloodstream. Yeah. So environmental, and then awareness to your own health. You're having heavy bleeding. That's not normal. Go to the doctor. Request for an ultrasound. For me, when I go get a pap smear, I ask for an ultrasound. And I was questioned in the past, like, why, by doctors? Why would you want an ultrasound? Because I know my mom had fibroids. I want to make sure that I don't have it. And when I requested for that, that's what they found was fibroids. And back then, they were a quarter size big, just one. Now I have 4 of them because I was told at year after year, don't worry about it. It's common. Just the same information you were given. Get on birth control. My body rejected birth control. It just didn't work for me. And the research I've done, birth control does not help the problem. It just makes the situation worse. So being aware of what's going on with your body is another thing. So number 2, environmental and education. And then third thing is things in your life that don't serve you. Whether it be a relationship, whether it be some friends, your atmosphere, get out of it. Yeah. Because it's not helping you. So those are my 3 tips. First, exercise and nutrition. Being aware of what you're eating, especially when it comes to sweets and even meat. If you're a carnivore, like, I have to have meat, maybe choose lean meat or going for grass-fed, meat as opposed to just the regular store brand. And incorporating more veggies. With us having fibroids, anemia, right? Getting tired. Yeah. So more vegetables, Brussels sprouts, spinach in your diet would help with that. And then number 2, your environment and also the awareness of what's going on with your body. And then 3, just relieving any toxins that are in your life. And I say toxins meaning like toxic people, toxic things that, don't serve you. But tequila, it all starts with awareness. If you don't feel like this is important to you, or if you're not aware of what's going on, this information, even that I'm talking right now, is going to go way over your head.
Yeah, and I think sometimes we feel like because it's not affecting us directly, right, that we don't have to retrieve the information. And it was like I had seen the holistic lady like prior to ever even finding out about it. I was still pregnant at the time, and so it's like God has a way of trying to give you stuff that you need before you need it. And if you take that information, you can be able to prevent getting to this place, because now once you get them, it's like, okay, I have to be careful, what I eat. I have to be mindful of how I exercise. And I have children. I be in pain sometimes, and it's just, it is what it is. But I don't know. I just wish that I would have been a lot smarter in the beginning, like you said, with being more aware, because the conversation that came up throughout my life. I'm a young black girl. I have a mother. I have aunts. I have all those things. But just understanding that as human beings, we have to check our bodies. Yeah. We think we could just go day to day and we're going to be all right, because we don't see or feel something, but it's there if you don't even see it. Exactly. And so one of the other things I want you to mention is, are there any things at yourself that you feel like you've done that has improved your symptoms?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So I have pain-free cramps. I didn't start off like that, but I now have, like, I don't even know sometimes when I'm on my period. And I believe what I do for myself, but for my clients, fitness, yoga, and nutrition. So I have transformed my lifestyle where I don't even say vegan. It's like, what's a vegan these days? I've taken a lot of things out of my diet that don't serve me. So I don't do meat, soy, dairy, processed foods. I strictly kind of do fruit, vegetables, and healthy plant-based food. Also, I incorporate yoga, some form of yoga, meditation every day. And breathing. Didn't realize as a sufferer from anxiety that I wasn't adequately giving my body the air that it needs. So being able to do a lot more deep breathing and exercising at a moderate point. And I say moderate point where I am enjoying the exercise. Flipping back, when I was competing, I had to work out 6 days a week. And it became a stress to my body versus something that I enjoyed. And I had to take a step back and become aware and say, you know what, this is not good for me. So I'm now at a point where I'm enjoying exercising. I'm enjoying, doing yoga. I look forward to those things. And I have changed my schedule where I'm not no longer working 2 nursing jobs. I'm working 1, and that's as needed. And doing things that I enjoy that keep me from overthinking and remaining stressed out. Because I'll tell you one thing, Tequila, stress, I feel that played a huge role on my reminder of fibroids. Because I didn't realize how stressed out I was. When you're stressed, where you're not able to really be yourself, you're feeling not yourself, weak, the heavy bleeding, those are all signs that something's not right with your body. And if you're not in tune, you're going to miss it. And by the time you find out, whether it's too late or you have to do some, procedure that you don't want to do. And it brings me to this, that women of color are more likely, 2 to 3 times more likely to have heavier bleeding, have hysterectomies, getting their uterus taken out. Most times they don't need to that's not even necessary. Also, fibroids come 2 to 3 times more worse in women of color. And also there is a racial disparity. I mean, research shows not exactly what it is, but it has to do with a lot of doctors' bias in regards to the guidance that they're giving women of color, and women of color knowing what their options are. Because research shows the hysterectomy, again, 2 to 3 times more likely, but that they feel that's their only and one option, to take out their whole uterus. And once you do that, you invite a number of other risks and complications as well. So there's a huge racial disparity, and we just really need to be proactive, women and our girls as well, and really bring more awareness to this.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I do feel like we're in a time where there is a war on women's bodies, where people want to make other decisions for us, and that's why it's very important to always go and get more than one opinion or about the situation, because one doctor may tell you, oh, just do a hysterectomy and take it out, because that's an easy factor for him, or someone may tell you, oh, just go get the fibroids removed, but then the fibroids will come back again even though they've been removed. So it just shows it's more so about how you take care of your body, what you put in it, and what you allow in your space as far as your mind goes. And I think that may scare some people too, because when they go to the doctor, they don't want to hear the worst or hear the bad. And so, like you said, having preventative measures, it can really help, especially as Black women. And I don't know, the background of it makes me kind of wonder, well, because it's so prevalently high with us, what benefit are doctors coming off of that as well by just getting us to have hysterectomies and things, because we have to still be fruitful, you know what I'm saying? It makes me wonder.
Yeah, and that's good. That's good to wonder about that, because it is a business. It's easier to remove to go ahead and wait till it gets worse. where you have to have, you're told you have to have a hysterectomy and that process versus preventative measures. And I feel that women just don't know their options. And again, doctors are there to be your partners in your health and not own your health. So when you get one opinion, get another opinion. Go educate yourself and say that, I want to make the best decision for me, knowing, looking back, I'm not going to regret it, because there are minimally invasive procedures out there versus a hysterectomy. And I've been told, since I came out with myself having fibroids, I've seen a lot of women say they have it too, and they just never said anything, suffering in silence. And with that being done, it's like we wait to go see the doctor, and then it's at the worst case when we're trying to have a baby, and you can't have a baby because you have this issue. And it versus waiting, but being proactive and knowing that, what, my period is 7 days. That's not normal. I have pain with my periods. That's not normal. So.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for just coming on here and giving us awareness on fibroids. Before you get out of here, just let our guests know, or our audience know, how to actually follow you on social media and just get more information.
Yes, and I want to just say, in light of fibroid awareness, I'm having my very first event that I'm collabing with Ty Jones. She's the founder of Womb Wellness. She actually had fibroids and healed herself from it, got rid of fibroids.
I think we had her here.
Yes, yes. So I'm collabing with her on July 13th, happening this Saturday. We're having an event and tequila in hopes to build this community of women and raise awareness. But where to find me? Nurse2 Fitness, and that's Nurse, N-U-R-S-E, the number 2, Fitness on Instagram. And my website is due to be coming soon. So check me out, get more tips on how to be your best from the inside out.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on our show. You are so appreciated, and we honor you for your Black excellence in the community. And as well, thank you all for tuning into The Blackout, always shining a light on Black excellence, activism, and culture, with your girl Tequila on Afro Vibes Radio. And make sure to check out our Facebook and Instagram pages at The Blackout AVR. And to stay up to date on our previous discussions and future events, please visit Afro Vibes Facebook and Instagram at Afro Vibes Radio, Twitter at Afro Vibes Radio with an S. And lastly, listen to us online at www.afrovibesradio.com, or simply download the Afro Vibes Radio app on the Apple or Google Play Store.